Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby, and today, the new update Honor of Valhalla has arrived with plenty of new features. Among these new features is the Sacred Blessings guild buffs. For those with lots of guild prayer cards, this is a great way to get stronger. There are two true damage buffs that are quite confusing, so I'll help you understand how these mechanics work. In this video, I'll cover 1. What are Sacred Blessings? 2. What is true damage? 3. Damage tests. And 4. Recommendations. First, what are Sacred Blessings? The Sacred Blessings can be accessed from the Guild Hall by talking with the Valkyrie. There is a new button for Sacred Blessings. It's great for veteran players who have lots of unused prayer cards or have maxed out the guild blessings. Each of these buffs requires 2 Rainbow Crystal chip cards followed by a certain number of guild blessing cards. So when you first start off, attack gives +6 attack and needs 10 attack cards. Magic attack gives 6 magic attack and needs 10 attack cards. Max HP gives 150 HP and needs 10 defense cards. Auto attack true damage gives true auto attack damage boost by 150 and needs 10 element cards. Skill true damage gives skill true damage boost by 150 and needs 10 element cards. You can get Rainbow Crystal chip cards from the guild vending machine. You can purchase 4 per week and it costs 2,000 honor proof. The other way to get more is to pay for the Glory Premium for the Adventure Log. The upgraded edition for the Kafka Adventure Log gives you 8 Rainbow Crystal chips. For my Novice Guardian, I had maxed out all my offensive guild buffs before. The difficult decision here was to choose between attack or skill true damage. So I went off on a journey to figure out which one is better. Next, what is true damage? Auto attack true damage and skill true damage are confusing. The devs aren't very transparent on what these do, so I'll try my best to explain the mechanics. In general, these true damage calculations are done after a lot of the damage modifiers have been used. Let's look at the code from romhandbook.com to understand this more. For example, for Novice Guardian, Card Tornado has 2 major areas of code where the damage is calculated. In the first section, it shows that attack is used and will be multiplied by things like attack percentage, size modifiers, elemental damage increase, race increase, and MVP damage. In the second section, multipliers like penetration and physical damage increase are calculated there. After, there's a whole bunch of Card Tornado modifiers that also contribute to this damage. You can see that 6 points of attack goes quite a long way. Unfortunately, there is no reference to the true damage in this Card Tornado formula. So, where is true damage calculated? First, an example of a skill that uses true damage is the Dorum skill Soul Strike, which adds true damage. Looking at the code, this buff is named Skill Real Dam. This variable is used in the code where it calculates the base damage. The true damage is calculated after all the damage from the skills have already been calculated and all the multipliers have applied to that one. As a result, the multipliers that affect this are skill damage percent increase and the final damage percentage increase. So you might think 150 true damage would be amazing, but in general it doesn't scale as well. This is the same for magic users, as the formula is the same. Next are damage tests. First, this is my character before I did any of these Sacred Blessings. I do my self buff, and here are my stats. I have 26,000 attack, 56% penetration, 8% skill damage increase, 139.5% damage increase, 99.7% physical damage increase, 55% wind damage, 49% against water, 44.5% against demi-human, and 55% against large monsters. Next, here's my gear. To avoid repeating myself a ton, my attack is multiplied a lot by my gear. The only exception is my garment and my back. My 6 attack will go quite a long way. For gear, my Dragon Bone shield adds a lot of physical damage increase. I also have the Meryl Roland card for MVP damage. Next for armor, I use the Truth Expositor, which adds a lot of attack percentage, and I use the Heart card for MVP damage percentage. For garment, I use the Classical Robe for the skill damage plus 8%. This does affect both attack and true skill damage. I use the Vagabond Star card for more attack percentage. For footgear, I use the Dragon Slayer War Boots for the attack percentage and the penetration percentage. For cards, I use one that gives more move speed and damage to demi-human. For my first accessory, I use the Steel Ambition, which gives a lot of attack percentage and some physical damage increase. I use the Galleon card for damage to water monsters. For my second accessory, I use the Pendant of Ugin, which is the same setup as my previous accessory, except this is the non-legend version. For the weapon, I use the Destroyer's War Axe and the Menorah's Star card and the Menorah's card. For head, I use Bashful Moments and the Norman card. For face, I use the Epic Spirit Lightning. For mouth, I use Huge Bounty. For back, I use the Love Goddess, which does final damage, so it affects both skill true damage and attack. For tail, I use the Rock Bunny. For Ancient Relic, I use Wei's Size. As you can see, most of my gear is affected by my attack. Here's my Venture Handbook. My attack percentage is at 29%. People with higher attack percentage deposits will notice an even bigger increase. For my dummy settings, I have it as Demi-Human, Large, Water, and MVP. I will start at 0% strength. I hit it for about 182.76 million damage. Next, I set the dummy to 50% strength. I hit the dummy for about 104.57 million damage. Next, I set it to 80% strength. The damage is about 15.8 million. Before I did my base damage test, I took out Blinker, which adds 6 attack when deposited. This is to simulate the 6 attack that I would have gotten from the Sacred Blessing. I show my Adventure Handbook again, and you can see my attack went up by 6. I set the dummy to 0% strength. I hit the dummy for about 182.89 million damage. Next, I set it to 50% strength. I hit the dummy for about 104.65 million damage. Next, I set it to 80% strength. I hit it for about 15.81 million damage. Next, I take out the blinker again. I show my adventure handbook, and this time you can see the attack is gone. Next, I go to the guild hall, and I'm going to talk to the Valkyrie, and then I'm going to get my skill true damage. Unfortunately, after getting this, nothing will show up in our stats, which makes this very frustrating to keep track of. I set the dummy to 0%. I hit it for about 182.76 million damage. Next, I set it to 50% strength. I hit it for about 104.57 million damage. Next, I set it to 80% strength. I hit it for about 15.8 million damage. Here is my summary. For my character, 6 attack is always better than true damage plus 150. That is expected due to how the formula works and how my character is set up to take advantage of each point of attack. I came up with a very rough approximation of true damage that could be done by taking your base damage, dividing it by your skill damage percentage, then adding the true damage, and then multiplying the total by your skill damage percentage. Although the numbers don't match up completely because there are other modifiers, this is a great approximation that you can use. I put another column in the table to show you that the results are quite close to the real thing. Next are my recommendations. I would recommend that you use the true skill damage estimation formula to get an idea of how much damage you would get. But in general, I'd max out attack first and then do true skill damage after. The same for magic users, I'd max out magic attack first. For auto attack users, although I didn't really cover this, the formulas are quite similar, so again I'd recommend the same thing. I'm glad this update gave us more ways to boost our attack so we can get a lot stronger. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.